How's the audio? Can you hear the music too? Do it. Um, Hello, welcome everyone. We are back with the Creator Hacks Live. And today we've got a special one. As you can see, I'm here in the secret purple room, but we also have the lovely Paulina and April joining us today. We are going to be talking all about how to build an engaged community and how to set that up inside of your hub for your business, for your membership, and how you can really grow a community that not just interacts with your brand but like deeply engages, and some of the benefits that can come out of that, as well as some top expert tips from our community expert April as well. So super excited for today. How are you guys feeling, Paulina and April?
Feeling pretty good. Missing you in the office, but really excited for this power trio to kind of kick it off today. I think community is something that's definitely been quite hot in our community and in the industry for memberships and courses in general. So we're really excited to host the first ever webinar about communities, and April knows everything there is to know about running a community because she runs the membership.io community. So we're really thrilled on behalf of myself and Tyler to invite April today because we couldn't have this webinar without her. So I'll pass it to April to say a little hello as well.
I'm super excited to be here. For those of you that don't know, this is my first live call, I think, that I've been on, all in the studio. So super excited. And I'm happy to be talking about community today because I've definitely interacted with some of you over in our Facebook community, on our Instagram, and our membership.io community discussion page, on our TikTok. I'm kind of everywhere. And I'm super excited to get to share some post ideas and engagement tips today. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm pumped.
Awesome stuff. And yeah, also this is not only the first live about community, it's also the first live training that we are also streaming on YouTube as well. So if you're subscribed to us on YouTube, or if you're over there, you can also tune in to the live stream from there. And I believe that will be what we will do moving forward. We'll kind of simulcast to the Facebook group and YouTube so that we can reach our community in as many places as possible. So awesome stuff. I think we can jump into the slides and give you guys a little overview of why you're here today, and just get right into things there. So awesome. So building engaged communities. Of course, we have myself from the marketing aspect of things. We have April, who is our community expert, and the lovely Paulina, who is in charge of all things customer success. So it's always great to have these different perspectives on these calls. I think each of us brings a unique element to this. But on the call, we're going to be talking about, what the benefits of community are, why you should really care about that when it comes to your business or your membership. Then we're going to talk about how you can create your community right inside of your membership.io platform. How you can set up your discussion page, all of that sort of stuff. And then we're going to kick it into some engagement tips and tricks and some of the top strategies that we found from our members and that we use ourselves inside of our membership.io community. So super excited about that. And of course, if you have questions or things that come up throughout the presentation, just post them in the chat and let us know. And at the end of the presentation, we'll do an open Q&A and we'll try to address as many questions as we possibly can before our time is up here. All right. So let's jump right into it here with the community benefits. So this is all about, why should you really care about, building a community? A lot of online business stuff is really focused on, acquiring customers and sales and, just converting people and numbers and things like that. But there's a lot more to it when you start to bring the human element into this, right? And that's what a community is all about. So what does it mean for your business building a community? Well, for starters, they're seeing a 23% higher customer lifetime value. That's what CLV there stands for. So a 23% higher customer lifetime value for brands with fully engaged customers. And so how do you get engaged customers? Well, online communities have been shown to boost customer engagement by up to 21%, which obviously leads to more sales, better retention, and again, contributes to that higher customer lifetime value. It's a lot less expensive to sell more to the customers and clients that you already have than it is to try to constantly be replenishing this revolving doors of customers coming in, buying from you once, and then never seeing them again. So this is really huge if you're wanting to build a sustained long-term business, right? And some additional numbers here. We've got customers are 5 times more likely to purchase again. So repeat purchases, again, contributing to the higher value from each of your customers, and 7 times more likely to promote brands to others. So if you have an engaged community that's associated with your brand, with your products, people are 7 times more likely to spread that word of mouth advertising that's free of charge for you. That's people saying, hey, I love membership.io. I've been using it for my membership for this and that. I think you should check it out. So having those members in your community that are spreading that positive word of mouth, it's the best form of marketing, and it comes from the best source, essentially, right? Like when you're hearing from a friend, hey, I used this firsthand, it was amazing, you should check it out. You're way more likely to go actually check that thing out than if you were to, just hear or like see something on a random Facebook ad or pops up in your Instagram, right? So additionally to this, we have customer acquisition costs are 3 times lower for companies with active communities. So again, this just comes from that previous point there, right? When customers are happy, when they're engaged with your community and they have that positive affect for your brand, and they spread that positive word of mouth to friends, and that by nature will lower the customer acquisition cost because you're getting free customers, essentially, right? If everyone that's using your product or you're following your program or as a part of your membership is telling friends about it and they're coming in and joining, those are new customers that you're getting without having to spend all the advertising dollars, right? The marketing budget to go out and find those people. They're coming to you. So that is huge, again, for building a sustainable long-term business, and something that's not just reliant on these one-off sales over and over and over again, right? So awesome stuff. It's great to see some of the comments here as well. I see some people tuning in on YouTube. Awesome to see that. Kathy, Janice, thanks for joining us here. Let's jump right back to the in the real world, right? Like we looked at the stats. We know that building an engaged community is good for business, right? But what are some actual examples in the real world that represent this, that can kind of communicate how effective, how important and impactful this really is? Well, one of the, I think, biggest well-known communities, one of the most diehard, are the Swifties, right? For Taylor Swift, she has, she's known for
Let
her
me ask
raving
Hannah.
fan base called the Swifties, right? And the Eras tour here was the highest grossing tour in history, generating over $1 billion in revenue. And this was largely driven by that deeply engaged community who, they rallied behind her events. They bought all the tickets they could. People were reselling tickets for thousands of dollars. It's, anyone who has paid attention to anything in sort of pop culture lately knows that Taylor Swift's latest tour was, insane, right? So that is just one example of what a highly engaged sort of raving fan community base can do for your business, right? Now, obviously, not all of us are world renowned pop stars, right? But we have some other examples here. So AFOL is adult fans of Lego. So this is a pretty unique concept where sorry, is my audio cutting out a little bit? Let me just double check here. Test one, test one. Can you guys hear it all right? Sounds okay? Okay. I just saw someone was mentioning they couldn't hear. So might be on your end. Just try to adjust that there. So adult fans of Lego. This was a unique engagement campaign that Lego put out in order to extend the reach of their products beyond, the traditional target market for their products is children, right? It's toys and things like that for kids, but they came up with this adult fans of Lego program, and they were actually able to use this to essentially crowdsource ideas from adult fans. And they really built this highly engaged community. They have like conventions and stuff for this. And what that led to for their business is, they're able to generate all of these new innovative products that the Lego team itself, might not actually have to put the resources and the ideation into. These are crowdsourced, and you can see sort of on the right side of the slide here, they have this sort of process of vetting these ideas. Someone kind of creates this creation. It goes to the community, and based on the community engagement, it goes through sort of an approval process, and then eventually goes to production to be, produced and sent out on the shelves. So, and one of these stats here is that Lego's platform here produced 30 community design sets, with Lego's revenue surpassing 7.4 billion in 2022. So obviously business is doing quite well for Lego. And this was just a unique concept that I came across, where creating a community actually created a new market for their product and extended the reach of their product into a new market. And that was all just created through creating a new community and engaging with them, right? And this also does wonders for the customers themselves, right? It builds strong customer loyalty. They feel like they have a real sense of ownership over the brand. If something that they can kind of contribute to and create can lead to, an actual like new product that the brand is offering, they really feel a sense of like pride and ownership over contributing to that new product. So really, really cool concept there, and something to perhaps consider that you might not have before when it comes to community engagement, and how you can use that for, user generated content, for sourcing new ideas, new innovations, all of that sort of stuff. All right. And then, of course, we also have Peloton. Now, Peloton, if you're not familiar, is basically a home, exercise bike, right? Exercise bikes have been around for forever, right? As long as exercise equipment has kind of existed. But the unique thing with Peloton is, well, one, they built the the little virtual screen into it so you can do classes, but they also have that a really strong community involved in Peloton. They have leaderboards and rewards and things like that that sort of reward people for engaging with the community, and it gives you a new sense of sort of what you're exercising for, right? It kind of gives you a reason to stay consistent with your healthy habits. And we can see this here in the slides. So, USA Today reports that 67%, so 2/3 of all gym memberships that are, owned or bought go completely unused, right? So, two out of every three people that have a gym membership never go to the gym. Whereas in Q2 2023, in Peloton's report, there was over 3 million connected Peloton subscribers, and 89% of them worked out at least once a month. So this is, a really strong indicator of what that strong community did for increasing their customer retention and, just improving the overall healthy habits of their customers, right? If traditional gyms, only 1 in 3 people ever even step foot into the gym or use their membership, them having an 89%, sort of active customer base is pretty mind-boggling, right? Like that's a huge jump up in how many people are actually using the product. And obviously there could be several factors contributing to that. Obviously the Peloton, it's more of a larger cost up front, but I think the biggest contributor to their sort of overall success and their customer retention is the fact that they have these community elements, these community engagement aspects built right into the product, built into the brand, into how you use the product. There's also, I believe, community sourced workouts and things you can follow too. So really strong examples here of just what building an engaged community can really do for your business. And I'm going to kick it over to Paulina to go over some examples in the digital space, right? Whether that's courses or memberships, and show you guys, what sort of community engagement elements are there. And then we'll go right into, how you guys can start setting this up inside your own hubs. So, Paulina, over to you.
Thanks so much, Tyler. Thank you, everyone. I know that we had some reports here in the live version of the webinar that Tyler's sound was cut off just from Facebook. Thankfully, we are pulling the full recording. So if you did miss Tyler's amazing segment, by the way, we'll make sure that you have that context available in the replay specifically. And I think that contextualization is really important going into looking at the technical side of how to make community possible in membership.io specifically. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through some examples of communities currently hosted inside of membership.io. We'll talk about how we design the feature specifically because we did want it to feel quite familiar to members who are using communities in other spaces as well. And I'll walk you through the 3-step process to set up your own membership.io community inside of a hub as well. So let me take a quick pause here. I want to make sure that everyone on the YouTube side of things can hear me okay. So just give me a thumbs up in the YouTube chat if our sound and video is coming through. Okay, so I'll just pause for a second there just to make sure that we haven't lost anyone. Great. So I'm hearing that working great on YouTube. Thumbs up. Thank you, friend. We're going to keep powering along. And we're happy to share the slide deck as well of some of the awesome stats that Tyler put together in terms of the value of community. All right, we'll kick it back over to the slides here to cover different communities that are hosted inside of membership.io. The really nice thing about adding features to membership.io is they're a fun little element that we can add to a resource bar that often appears on our homepage inside of our hubs. So what I'm hoping to show you in a couple minutes is how easy it is to activate this page inside of any existing or new hub that you may have inside of your membership.io account. We'll show you how to configure some of the settings, which is especially useful if you have a membership or course in a language other than English. And then we'll show you how you can share it with your members. All of this kind of goes back to this screenshot as well, because once you do set up your community inside of membership.io, we have to actually place it on your hub for your members to see. So as you can see in this screenshot, the community, generally we recommend having it live next to the other core deliverables that you host inside of your hub. Communities hosted in membership.io contain a couple different common sections. Again, it's designed to feel quite familiar in comparison to other communities that you may already be a part of. So things like threads, posting, comments on specific posts, being able to set specific rules and regulations, and being able to categorize conversations based on specific topics are all currently available inside of membership.io. As you can see in this screenshot as well, we have the opportunity to pin posts. So if you want to set the stage and let your members know how you expect a specific community or space to load, you'll have the option to pin that to make sure that that post is prioritized over any other post that's posted inside of the community. We know that each community has unique rules as well. So we do have a sidebar that allows you to post your specific community guidelines to make sure that everyone can keep them in mind as they're engaging with your community specifically. Links also work inside of posts. So as you can see here, a parent thread can contain a title, a description underneath. And as members want to engage with that post, they have the option to either comment on an existing post, or alternatively, your members can also post new posts to specific spaces as well. One thing that I really love about a community feature is sometimes our members maybe miss the different spaces that they can add a particular post to. So as the hub creator, you can also go in and tidy up the spaces a little bit to make sure that the right posts are being added to the right spaces as well. Now, you may be asking, what the heck is a space? So let's get into how you can set up your own community inside of membership.io. All right. So our first step here is we want to open the hub editor. The hub editor is where you make changes to your hub itself. If you haven't yet created a hub, you would get started by creating a new hub in this step specifically. So inside of your membership.io account, next to the hub that you want to activate your community to, you'll see the little toolbox icon, kind of looks like an X, if you will. If you hover over it, on the top, it says Customize. Clicking that Customize button will take you to your hub editor. The hub editor is where you'll be activating your discussions page, otherwise known as community, and where you can configure some of the settings that go along with it. So pretty easy first step. We're going to log into your membership.io account and open your hub editor. For the second step, we're going to configure your discussions page. This is our default page that appears inside of your hub. So for this next step specifically, what you're going to do is using the menu on the top middle here. I don't think I can hover over it, but maybe April has the trackpad and she can. At the top, we see where it says discussions. If you click on that menu, you'll see the discussions page towards the bottom because it's categorized as what we call a default page inside of our platform. Once you get to the discussions page, you can see the default template that's available there. You can get started by adding a new post by clicking Start a Discussion. And on the right-hand side, you'll see where we have the welcome message, the guidelines, and the spaces. So all of those can be customized according to your specific guidelines and what spaces you want to create. And you can make those changes by clicking Edit Spaces on the left-hand side in the screenshot. So you can see here next to the sidebar, we have the ability to edit the title, the descriptions, the spaces title, and under Edit Spaces, we can create as many spaces as we need. A space is our opportunity to create more tailored conversations based around specific topics. The Slack equivalent of a space would be a channel. So what you're doing, if you're familiar with Slack, is you're creating different channels to be able to categorize some of this discussion to make it a more engaging and dynamic experience for your members specifically. This entire process literally takes about a couple minutes. So, as long as you have some context in terms of what specific spaces you want to set up, and if you don't have that, don't worry because April is going to hook you up with some really handy tips and tricks when it comes to building engagement inside of your community. But this entire process, once you're on the discussions page, again, you're just kind of poking around, making any changes that you need. And once we're good to go, once you're happy with those changes, the last step is to be able to share that community with your members. Now, when we talk about sharing the community with your members, most of your members will already be in your hub, right? Because for that first step that we covered today, we talked about opening the hub editor generally for an existing hub that likely has already launched. So if you already have members inside of your hub, what you'll do is simply drop the link to that community and discussions page anywhere where it makes sense for your community specifically. The most obvious choice is generally on the menu of your homepage. This gives your discussions and community page more visibility so that your members are more likely to land on that page specifically as they come into your hub. So once we get to step 3 specifically, again, we'll want to drop the link to that somewhere in your hub specifically. So in this screenshot here, we actually added the community in 2 different spots. Number 1, we have it appear under the search bar in our menu. So you can see it says home, training, and community is the third option on that menu. And then in addition to that, it's also part of that hero banner just under the founding member launch challenge, where we have the playbook, the launch companion, and the community is third on that list. So you can see that we are sharing it in a couple different places just to make sure that we're driving people to that page so that they can see it. So now that we have the technical side of things out of the way, I'm going to bring up April, who's going to walk us through some of her amazing tips and tricks when it comes to building a super engaging community. I think that oftentimes, and I'm absolutely speaking for myself here, it's hard to start with a blank slate, especially when you don't know what best practices entail. So when me and Tyler were designing the presentation for this, I said, you know what? I'm in customer success. I don't really schedule posts in our community. I don't post a lot inside of our community because it's not part of my day-to-day job. So I said, the only person we can bring on is April because she's going to have all the best practices that we can share with our community. So I'm going to pass it over to April, who's going to share some engagement tips with you.
Yeah, thank you, Paulina. I'm excited to talk about engagement, and I'm going to share a bunch of different post ideas, a little bit about how to use spaces, and just some general engagement tips at the end. Let me see if I got it. There we go. So, starting with engagement. So, you can categorize different types of posts into like 3 buckets. There's onboarding posts, there's activation posts, and there's retention posts. So, onboarding posts are used to welcome your new members to your community and encourage them to introduce themselves and poke around and play with your community. Activation posts are to increase content consumption and just encourage your members to actively consume your content throughout your course and membership. And retention posts are to keep members engaged and actively participating ongoing, so throughout the length of your course and membership. And I've got a couple post examples for each of these 3 buckets. So we're going to start with onboarding posts. So this is an introduce yourself post idea. I'm keeping these all in the theme of like a yoga membership, so they all have a similar theme. But an introduce yourself post can be as simple or as detailed as you like, and it's kind of a space for you to introduce yourself and introduce your digital program, and then encourage your members to do the same. So I've included some prompts there at the bottom. Drop a comment below and let us know who you are, how long you've been practicing yoga, and your favorite yoga position. But you can add your own prompts. You can make them fun, kind of like icebreakers, just encouraging your members to make their first post in your community and introduce themselves and share maybe how long they've been in the niche or their level of experience, and then just a fun icebreaker at the end. So that's an onboarding post example. And then next is a start here post. And we actually have a start here post in our membership.io community. And I encourage you to pin these types of posts at the top, because when new posts are added to your discussion page or when people refresh the page, this post will stay at the top. So it's really easy for members to find when they come into your community. And a start here post is just, I've got a line there welcoming people into the community. You can talk a little bit about the journey they're going to have with your program and the results they can hope to achieve throughout your program and what they'll find in the community. And you can even take it a step further and add like a welcome video, kind of like you would have a welcome video in your hub when you're onboarding members. You can have a little simple video showing people how to navigate the community, how to use the spaces, how to make their first post. You can include that there. This is kind of just like the first post you want your members to see when they first come into your community or your discussion page. So this can really just be as detailed or as simple as you like, but highly recommend pinning this type of post. So the next bucket is activation posts. So just kind of ways to keep members consuming your content as they go and sharing their progress and this and that. So the first example of an activation post is a share your progress post. Super simple. You can also add images here or GIFs or graphics, but I just kept it simple with a text post and just encouraging people to share where they are on their journey. And this is also a great way for members to find other members in your community that are on the same stage in their journey as well. So facilitating some connections there. And you can also drop a comment below and share where you are on your journey and one milestone you crushed. You could even separate these into two different posts, and you could do a share your progress post, and you could do like a weekly wins post where you're encouraging people to share their wins as they go through your content. We share a lot of like share your progress and weekly win type of posts in the membership.io community, and people love to engage there and participate in the discussion. So really simple activation post example here. Another one are polls. Polls are a great way to generate feedback from your members about what they're liking, what they're not liking, maybe about your content, and get their input. And you can do polls for all sorts of things, like maybe when would you like the next live call to be, or what content would you like to focus on next week. So this is just a simple, which topic would you like to dive deeper into next, which yoga post spotlight of the week. So comment, different emojis for your different votes, I guess. And these polls are like a great type of post to encourage discussion and participation because people want their feedback to be heard. We normally do polls in our group when we have our live training. This one was strictly community. It was just too good to pass up. But normally when we are picking a topic, we'll put a poll in the group and, we read all of your votes. So polls are a great activation example. And then the last bucket is retention posts. So these posts are just to encourage your members to keep participating and keep consuming your content for the long run. So the first one, big picture of myself there, is an ask me anything post or ask us anything post. And we do have an example of this in our membership.io community. I think it's a picture of Paulina, you, Paulina and Carly. It's just a picture of them in our community, and it's really simple. Ask me anything or ask us anything. Have a burning question about the course, content, or community. Drop your Qs in the comments, and our team will help you out. You can also pin this type of post if you want to the top of your discussion page, and it's just so people can put their questions all in one thread, and you and your team can easily get to them. So again, it doesn't have to be a picture of yourself. You can add whatever image or video or GIF here you'd like, but ask me anything posts are really good to hear the questions your community has as well. And finally, a resource spotlight post or like a content spotlight post, kind of where you're just highlighting one piece of content every week or bi-weekly that encourages your members that maybe haven't participated in the hub to jump back in there and check out that piece of content and leave their feedback. So have you checked out this month's at-home yoga goodies list? What's been the most helpful item on the list? Discuss and share your recommendations with each other. So you could do like a live call of the week, or have you checked out this social post of the week? just encouraging people to stay in the community and stay active and share and start discussions. So a resource spotlight post could be customized to really include whatever type of content you want. So those are I think there were 246 post examples there, and they can all be customized to fit your brand and your aesthetic and your brand voice and whatever you want to get out of your membership. So those are just kind of some easy outlines to get you started. So I just have a couple points talking about spaces. So when you set up your discussion page, you can have different spaces in your community. And just some general tips. You want to create tailored spaces for different questions. So you can have maybe like a module 1 question space or module 2 question space or community questions, like ways to break your questions up so everybody's post isn't just getting lost in the general discussion. So in our membership.io community, we have like product updates, feedback, general, maybe a roadmap one, just easily organized different spaces there. And a trick is just to keep a clear, simple, concise name. You don't want the name of your space to be long and confusing. You just kind of want to keep it simple: feedback, community, product update, things like that. And I do recommend including a space dedicated to feedback, because if someone shares some valuable feedback in your community, just as a general post, it might get lost amongst all the other, engaging, active discussions happening. So if you have a feedback section, it kind of makes it clear to people when they come in your membership where they can share their feedback directly with you. And then just some general engagement tips to wrap it up. Um, we recommend carving out some time daily to engage with your community. And you'll notice that at this time, we don't have a built-in scheduling feature. And you can kind of look at this as a benefit, because we don't want it to, or you don't want it to be like a post it and forget it type of community where you just schedule posts and you don't actively hop in there and engage with your members. So without having that scheduling feature, it actually allows you to create some time in your schedule and make sure you're going into your community and answering people's comments and engaging with them and participating in discussions as well. So even if you just on your to-do list, you carve out a couple hours a day or every other day to make sure you're getting in there and keeping things engaged, that is a great tip. And then I put include your support email in your group rules. You can actually have a section in your discussion page where you have some group rules, just guidelines for your community members to follow to keep it like a safe and friendly space. And you can include, if you have like a support email for specific questions or technical questions, you can include your support email in those group rules. And this just kind of allows people, if they have an urgent question, they can't get in or something's not working, instead of posting in the community and maybe not hearing back right away, they can just see that support email right there and be able to get in touch with you quicker if it's urgent. So that's kind of a handy tip. And then just have fun with videos, GIFs, and emojis. You can include videos now in your posts and GIFs, and just like you want to make it friendly and fun. You don't want to keep them too simple. Like I'm a big lover of GIFs and videos in our Facebook community. I'm always trying to sprinkle in an emoji where I can. So just have fun with it, because it's a great opportunity for you to create meaningful connections with your members and build a community around your brand. So just keep it lighthearted and keep it fun. And do you have anything you want to add, Paulina? Or you're good?
That's a good question in terms of community tips. I was gonna say that I think that last one that you had is definitely the most important, because to your point, communities can feel a little too serious if it's just copy and text. I think any opportunity that you have to use GIFs, to use emojis, to use different bullet points and numbered lists, I think really makes a difference just in terms of breaking up a wall of text. And I think at the end of the day, just also offering your audience the opportunity to send in their own posts and posts in the community, as opposed to just commenting on the post that you put as well. So you do want to give your members, the impression that this is their community as much as it is your community. So incentivizing them to share their wins in the community, a nice way to do that is using like a section on the homepage. So for one of our hubs that we have, we really want to celebrate every time someone launches. So we do have a space for launch debrief specifically. And when someone launches, we point them to that space and we give a template that they can use to post inside of the community, sharing their wins so that we can celebrate with them when they launch as well. So I learned a lot from that presentation from April as well. I took some notes as well, just in terms of my own engagement inside of our communities. So really awesome presentation from April.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I just wanted to say too that, you know, the interactions and stuff that you have inside your community, like, you know, posting those emojis or, you know, little GIFs or videos or things like that, like those are your opportunities to really communicate your brand, right? Like if you think of like what a brand really is, it's the feeling that someone associates with, you know, either you or your products or services, right? And so how you communicate inside of your community is all part of your brand and how people will sort of perceive you and how they feel about you and your products and all of those sort of things. So, you know, if you want to have some fun and share your personality, like by all means, show your personality inside of your community, right? Like that'll give people the sort of closest touch point to you to be able to you know, relate to you on a deeper level, to be able to engage with you, and you know, like Paulina said as well, you know, offer that opportunity for your community members to really contribute themselves. And again, you know, we talked about that example of the adult fans of Lego, right? They're able to source new innovative ideas for their business through their engaged community. So just wanted to add those extra little 2 cents in there.
Awesome. And I think speaking of having fun and adding some personality, we have our own community inside of membership.io that we would love everybody to join. So let's post the next slide up so that we can cover the domain for our community specifically. So community.membership.io does take you to our very own community hosted inside of a hub specifically. So if you do want to take a look at a community in action inside of membership.io, this is your best opportunity. The little meta, because it's also your opportunity to ask us questions and more importantly, to share your tips and tricks as well. So in terms of taking a little bit from the presentation ourselves, we'd love to see all of you post your membership tips in terms of what has worked for you and different engagement tactics that have been super successful for you. So, if you have any tips when it relates to activating your members, smoothing out your onboarding, making sure that you're retaining your members, we'd love for you to post your membership tips inside of our community as well. So, I'll throw the link up on the page again just so that everyone can see it. But it's community.membership.io. And who knows, if you share a fun tip, we may feature you on our next Creator Hacks Live training as well. I think now is a good time to kick it over to questions as well. So I'm happy to take some of the more technical product related ones here. I think to kick us off, Barbara has a great question in terms of if you need a brand new hub, if you already have a hub or a digital course, what I can share is this is up to you and depending on what community you're looking to create. So if you're looking to create a community out of members who have taken your course, then it makes absolute sense to activate your discussions page inside of your existing hub. That said, if you want to create a separate community that's independent from your course specifically, that allows you to nurture your audience and talk to them about whatever it is that your zone of genius is, in that case, it makes the most amount of sense to create a brand new hub for that community specifically. This is very handy dandy, we did roll out a new community template for hubs specifically. So if you do go to create a brand new hub, you will see the option to create a community focused hub specifically that sets that discussions page as your homepage. No worries if you already have an existing hub, you'll find that discussions page just inside of your menu of different pages inside of your hub. So either way, if you want to use an existing hub and or if you want to use a brand new hub, both of those options are on the table for you for adding community inside of your community. The next question here, I think, is somewhat related, so I'll get this one too. From SoCal Solar Power Inc. How does this look on the homepage? So the discussions page can be set as your hub homepage. That said, if you do like and you're attached to your existing design for your hub homepage, all you need to do is provide a link to your discussions page from your homepage. So you can use almost any of the sections that are currently available in a hub, as long as that button is set to the discussions page specifically. The next question here is from Lisa. Lisa says, can discussions be set like segments so only some members can participate in some discussions? So I'll answer Lisa's question and then we'll kick it over to April to answer, I think, Mad Success. I think I'm seeing everyone's business name because we're signed into YouTube, but Mad Success's question specifically. April, can you just give me a thumbs up if you can see that question? You can. Okay, perfect. Awesome. So Lisa asks, can discussions be set like segments so only some members can participate in some discussions? This is absolutely our intention, and it's something that's currently on our roadmap. So we are working on a way to attach a segment, I believe, to a space specifically in order to lock down specific elements of your discussions in order to make sure that only specific groups of people are able to see that. It's not available just yet as of September 18th, but who knows? Maybe if you're watching this a little bit in the future, this feature may already be available. So I recommend checking into your configurations for the page to see in the future. I'm speaking to everyone watching this in the future where that may already be available. So great question for sure. And then I'll pass it to April to answer a question from Mad Success.
Yeah, so Mad Success asked, definitely struggling to get my members to start using the community function. Look forward to ideas to get them to take action and get engaged. I feel like this is like a common sentiment. Sometimes it might be hard to encourage people to try out a new platform that they're not familiar with, but it also just provides a lot of opportunity for people to get in there first and play around and share their feedback with you. So we did share like a bunch of post examples that you can use in your community and maybe some ways you could encourage your members to join your new community or check it out. You could make a post in your current community, whether that's Facebook or wherever you are, and then at the end of your post, you could say, do you want to share your feedback or do you want to check out more? Read the rest over at and then your community link. Just kind of start sprinkling it in there so people get used to your new community, and then you can kind of start encouraging them to transition over there and check it out. And you can also, as Paulina mentioned, link to it in your hub, include it in your hub, so people that are already in your hub can easily access it and check it out. So it might be kind of scary for some people to try it out, but I think once you just start mentioning it and sprinkling it in your current community, it encourages people to check it out. And you can even share like, giveaways maybe over in your new community, just ways to encourage people to get over there. So even if they haven't checked it out yet, there's still opportunity, and you can try out some of these new post examples and see if that helps.
Awesome. Our next question here is from Iridium Helps, who says, if we want to encourage interaction in the community on individual videos via a link in the description, would we need to have two versions of that video if the same video is in two hubs, paid and free? So the nice thing is, in addition to the discussions page, we also have comment sections that already exist underneath videos. So if you're looking to contain the discussion around a really specific piece of content, the easiest thing to do would simply be to encourage your members to use the comment section underneath that video specifically. Because of that, it means that you don't have to worry about adding a link into the description. And it's also easier for your members to see that comment section underneath that video specifically. So even if it's the same video, but it's in two different hubs, one of them is a paid hub, the other is a free hub, the comment sections are unique based on the hub itself, as opposed to the description, which is for the video itself. So the easiest thing to do would simply be to lean on the comment section as opposed to a post in the community specifically for that use case. Great question. Awesome.
Absolutely.
You want to take the next one, Tyler?
Sure. So we have I Love Challenge. Can you have a free discussion group within the hub and then pull from that to join the paid group? So yeah, you can have your discussion page set up for your free members, and then within that you could have a post or space on your discussion page describing your paid offer and then linking out to that. I believe that's what you're asking there. So hopefully that's answering that question. And I'll just grab the next one here too with Barbara. So will participants get an email letting them know that there's a new post in the community? Yes. So they can set up notifications as well, so that whenever you post a new message inside the community, they'll receive an email and they'll be able to keep up with the discussions and the threads on those topics in your discussion page.
Awesome. I can grab this next question from Kimberly. So Kimberly asked, is there a toggle on and off setting to allow members to be able to directly contact other members in the directory if they saw a person making / commenting on a post that they wanted to connect with? So direct messaging isn't possible as of today. That said, Kimberly, you're definitely on the right track there, where the directory is a great bridge if there are specific members who do want to connect one-on-one. They're also welcome to carry that conversation in a thread in a post as well. So if you want to let your members lead with, consent and making sure that they have the permission from other members to reach out to them directly, your members can engage in that dialogue inside of the community. The nice thing about the directory as well is that you can set questions to be optional, so that if your members are onboarding into your hub and they would opt to not fill out some questions just in terms of contact information that would be visible to other members specifically, they can simply leave that field blank. That would then mean that that information doesn't show up in that person's audience profile in the directory specifically. So it's a nice kind of casual way to ease your members into seeing who does and doesn't want to communicate outside of the community itself. So I would say that the directory, as I mentioned, is a great bridge if you do want to allow your members to be able to connect outside of the community as well. Loving these questions also.
Yeah,
Next
there was
question.
a funny
Go
one that
ahead.
just, sorry, there was just a funny one that just popped up, by El Cajon, So and Vac. So I could create a community for our store to attract the Facebook haters? Question mark. Yes, absolutely. You can create your own discussion page, and those that want to get off of Facebook will have their own private discussion platform to make use of. So we'll jump to the next one. April, did you want to tackle that, or Paulina, did you have one you wanted to pick up?
Um, Paulina, is there one you wanna
I think the next one's from Lisa Spector, just about the
Yep.
ETA that we're adding the ability for audience members to add their own videos. So we do accept video links inside of posts and comments. So if you do want to give your members the ability to share their videos, they're certainly able to post a link. I'm not sure that we have posting videos inside of our immediate roadmap, only because this would count towards your upload limit for your account. So we want to be mindful to make sure that there's no funky activity happening there. But for the time being, members are absolutely able to share links of their videos in YouTube or other sources inside of the community, and they will be hyperlinked inside of the discussions page. And then we have two back-to-back questions from Jennifer Kennedy. So I can answer both of Jennifer's questions if someone else wants to take Kate's question as well. So Jennifer first asked, what is the difference between a membership and community when setting up a new hub? So Jennifer, I recommend just creating both to see what the difference is. The primary difference, if you want to bypass that specifically, is inside of a membership, generally the homepage is a custom page. Whereas in a community, the discussions page would be set as the homepage specifically. And then another question from Jennifer that we kind of answered earlier as well is, can people have a one-on-one chat just with me? In other words, that only they see based on what we just said. So one-on-one messaging isn't available just yet. It is something that we are looking at adding into our roadmap. For the time being, if someone does want to reach out to you for a one-on-one conversation, what you can also do is inside of a pinned post, inside of a post, you can have your email or your preferred contact information if someone does want to take that conversation offline and just talk to you privately as well.
Perfect. And then actually just to touch on that, Jennifer did have a third part of that as well, which is can you set the notifications when posted to daily, weekly, etc. Don't want to pepper my members inbox with constant notifications. Yes, you can set the frequency of those updates so they're not getting 100 pings an hour kind of thing. And then to address Kate's question here, so it's what's the easiest way to share a PDF so people can access it? Is it possible to do this without creating a full hub or discussion page? I want to test the idea first. There's a couple options you have here, Kate. I mean, the simplest would really just be using the library inside your membership.io account. You can upload the PDF to there, and then you could send a direct link to whoever you want to access it, but that would require kind of like one-to-one sending those out. So if you're wanting people to be able to simply go to a space to be able to access the PDF, one of the simplest things would probably be to just set up a very basic discussion page, have your post or your thread, and then you could have the link to the PDF right there. But those are essentially the easiest options. Again, if you do have a hub or if you're wanting to set up the hub, you could have one simple video or one post inside that hub, and you could have the PDF attached as a downloadable attachment. So hopefully that answers your question. Those are sort of the three options you would have for sending out a PDF for your members or community to be able to access.
Awesome. And I think that's a wrap for questions. So I love that we were able to keep it totally focused on the community. I think it makes it easier to repurpose this replay as well, just in terms of sending all of our lovely members to this webinar replay to help answer any questions they have about the community. Definitely makes a difference for the searching experience as well. We love a good searching experience here at membership.io. I want to thank everyone for tuning in and joining us today. I had a really lovely time chatting through best practices when it comes to the technical and more philosophical angle of setting up a community in membership.io. I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone share their own tips and tricks as well. And I'll pass it over to Tyler and then April to wrap us up for today.
Absolutely. So again, thank you everyone for joining us. Next time, I'm sure I will be in the studio again with the rest of them, just dealing with a lovely case of shingles right now. So that's been lots of fun. But just wanted to reiterate, if you haven't already, be sure to go to community.membership.io. If you guys aren't already in the community or you haven't experienced the discussion page, this gives you a firsthand experience as to what we're doing with our community page. It allows you to contact us directly, get your questions answered, participate with other people in the membership.io community, and share your tips, tricks, strategies, all of those great things as well. We always love to hear from you guys, what's working well for you, what maybe isn't. But yeah, it's a fantastic resource to take advantage of for sure. Again, thank you to everyone who joined on Facebook, on YouTube. For those that ran into the audio issues on Facebook, I'm not really sure what happened there, but what we can do is take the recording of this and we can re-upload that into the Facebook group. So you've got it. We'll have it inside one of our membership.io hubs in case you need to access it in its own area. And we'll have the YouTube live here will be up on the channel as soon as this is done as well. So you guys can always come back and rewatch if you missed certain sections or anything like that. It will be up here and be available. And lastly, I believe our next live will be, we're going to be doing these every third Wednesday of the month. So we're going to do these on a monthly schedule. And I believe we'll put up a poll for the next one to see what topic you guys would like to see. You know, like we said, we always love engaging with you and trying our best to, you know, help serve you in the ways that you know, find you most need help, or, you know, whatever the majority of people want to hear more about. So we'll put together a poll with some potential topics for the next live training coming up in October. And will be great to hear your feedback there as to what you guys are looking to learn more of, whether that's, you know, on the business side of things, whether it's more technical membership things, platform things. But yeah, overall, this was a great live, and thank you all for joining us. I'll kick it over to April just to sign off.
Thanks, Tyler. I just want to say shout out again to Paulina and Tyler for inviting me on my first live training call. I had so much fun and I loved sharing all these different post ideas with everyone. So thank you again, everybody, for joining on Facebook and on YouTube. And also if you want to share, if you try out any of these post ideas in your own community, feel free to post in our membership.io community or in our Facebook group and let us know, send us a DM on Instagram, let us know how they went, if they gathered a lot of engagement, which post types you liked and you tried, and any other new ideas you have. Just, we love to see your wins in the community, so feel free to share. And the replay will be up soon for this call, so don't worry, stay tuned. And yeah, I hope you all have thriving, engaged communities.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your afternoon, and we will see you all again very soon. Take care.